Hello everyone. Alright, today I'm going to show you guys really how to cool down your MacBook Pro. Pretty much this applies to any MacBook Pro. Doesn't matter if you have the 2012 or 2013 or 2017 model. Pretty much this is from a client of mine. He brought it in because it was overheating and it would shut down after a few hours of overheating. And he was doing some gaming and some video editing on this one, and he's like, the temperatures really go high and the fans go crazy and it just freezes and it just goes off. So pretty much what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna disassemble it, we're gonna take it apart, and we're gonna clean the GPU and CPU all thermal paste that they have on it. And they already opened this one somewhere else and they put a different thermal paste, and that didn't work for them. I think they put an Arctic Silver 5, and it's still with that, it didn't help out. So we're gonna apply the liquid metal to this one right now, and this should solve the problem as I have done it before on different Macs for different clients. Alright then, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys how to take it apart. First thing first, when you got your MacBook Pro, doesn't matter which version that you have, first let's turn it on, let's make sure it's working. So there, I got my lady friend in the background. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it off. Alright, now we're gonna close the lid and we're gonna flip it over. This MacBook Pro, it's the model number A1398. So what you want to do, you want to go ahead and remove all the screws all around the bottom panel. So go ahead and remove all of them. Alright, now that we remove all the screws, we're gonna grab it from the top part of the part that it says MacBook Pro right in the middle, and we're just gonna lift it up. And it's just gonna pop open. This is the bottom cover. You want to clean it up if you want to. If it's dirty, this one's really dirty. So go ahead and clean it up. And I'm going to show you a trick before you close the MacBook. A trick that actually will help you cool it a little better. Alright, next, you want to disconnect the battery, which is right down here. And this is the connector for the batteries right here. Let me zoom in. To disconnect these connectors, you just have to pull it from this side upward. I just do two fingers like this, and just let me see if I can show you guys this way. Right there. And then it just comes out. You want to always disconnect the batteries to be in a safer side. You don't have to, but it does not hurt if you do it. Alright, next. So here we have the GPU and the CPU and the two fans that go. You see these rubber plastics? You just lift them up to one side. You want to remove first thing first the screw on each end of the heatsink. One on this side, one on the other side. Alright, once you remove these two screws, and you want to go ahead and remove the 4 on the CPU and 4 on the GPU screws. On this one is missing 2 screws because somebody else opened it and they did not place the 4 screws that they needed. Actually, it really doesn't matter because at the end I'm going to do something modification so we don't even need any screws. But it's good to have some. Alright then, put this 4, remove the 4 for the CPU. Remove the 4 for the GPU. Alright. Once you remove the screws for the heatsink, you want to lift it up from the right side. If you're looking this way, the batteries are towards you. Let me show you guys. If the batteries are towards you, pull the heatsink from the right side first. Lift it up from the right side always. Don't lift it from the left side. And then you want to pull it towards to your right so you can lift it up from this side. Otherwise it will not come out because of this thing right here. This metal piece goes underneath this plastic that goes by the antennas. So pretty much you have to move it in 45-degree angle and pull it out. Alright, now as you can see, this is the old thermal paste that they had in here. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this thermal paste out of the way. Some alcohol. You might have some plastic over this CPU. If you is your first time opening it up, you can remove that because you won't be needing it. You're gonna start replacing it with a special tape. So we're gonna go ahead and clean the GPU, the heatsink. Do a few passes to make sure you really clean it. And after you clean the heatsink aluminum, try not to touch it with your fingers. You don't want to apply any grease or anything from your fingers. You want to be absolutely clean. Alright. Now, first thing, we gotta go get ourselves the Grizzly thermal paste, the liquid metal one. And remember, this thermal paste, thermal liquid metal, only applies. Oh, I think this was open. I had it open. So I'm gonna clean the mess and I'll be back. Alright. What happened to me? My liquid metal is spilled right inside my package. I think I just sat on it. I don't know. I dropped it. Just so I had to suck it back in the syringe. All the leftovers. So that's that. I did some cleaning and I got some spill on my paper over here. So what you want to do? You want to grab your liquid metal and put a one drop only on the CPU and one drop right over the GPU right there. I put one drop right on the CPU. We're gonna work on that first. So you're gonna grab your Q-tip and you're gonna just work it out. That's more than enough that I just put there. And then you're gonna grab from here and you're gonna apply right in the middle of the heatsink. You don't want to overdo it and put too much. Alright, I think I have too much on my CPU, so I'm gonna grab up from my CPU. I'm gonna apply on my GPU. And then you're gonna apply right in the middle in a circular motion. Just the size of the die that is in here, we're gonna apply here. I think by far I put too much on my CPU. There. As far as when you see you get this shiny surface, then you're really set. Just gonna tap some here and right there. So I'm just gonna go get my tape and I'll be back. I'm gonna grab some that I have on my paper right there. Try to take advantage of everything that I have spilled everywhere. Have some over here. Right there, I'm gonna put it there. And that's it. Maybe we'll have some more in the back. More for the GPU. Try not to spill this precious thermal. It's really expensive, but it's worth every penny. Alright, once you did this, you wanna grab this one and put it face up somewhere that you don't drop. Hide it somewhere cool in a room temperature. Alright, I'm just gonna go get myself a tape that we need. I'll be back. Alright. We're gonna use this tape. This is the only tape that is good for this kind of work. It's an Scotch 33 Plus Super, and it's a really high. It's up to 105 Celsius. It's really good. So we have to cover all the ICs and all the capacitors, which is on top of the chip, just right beside the die. We need to cover those. So we don't want to get any liquid metal anywhere on those. So we're gonna cut from here, and we're gonna cover those. I'm just actually gonna put it here on the side. Now I'm gonna. You might want to go ahead and put this one first, just because of the spelling that I had on my liquid metal. I went and I did the applying first. Try to not cover the holes for the heatsink screws. Alright, let me zoom in a little more. Maybe I'll keep it. Let's do the same thing for the. I really have liquid metal everywhere here. Alright. I might have to fast forward this a little bit. I've been doing this liquid metal for a long time, so if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And that's it. Alright, now that we apply those, I'm just gonna inspect, make sure that I haven't spilled any here when I open the package. And don't do what I did, don't open the package right over on top of your laptop. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, I'm back. By the way, if you have a question, why am I taping this connection and I'm missing a few screws, because this motherboard was replaced from the different motherboard, almost the same series, and this is the webcam cable, which is not the same side of the jack is in there. I don't know, and the client already replaced it somewhere else, and they did a wrong replacement they ordered, so they end up with this motherboard. Anyways, let's continue. So we applied the thermal and the liquid metal on the dies of the GPU and CPU, and we applied the same thing over the heatsink. Now we're gonna flip it over and place it right on top. And we can't just go right that. We have to place, remember, in 45-degree angle. We have to put down the heatsink right there. Slowly, you don't want to shake it. You don't want to spill any heatsink, liquid metal from the heatsink on your board. You want to go gently. Right, before I go, I have this tape right blocking my entrance. You might want to take your time doing the taping. Don't do it fast as like I do. Alright, now you're gonna put it down, align the holes for the screws, and let it drop. And there we have. Now try not to lift it. Don't think like, oh, let me lift it up and see if it's okay or not. Once you put it in, do not ever lift it again. If you lift it, it's because you want to clean it up and you want to reapply the liquid metal. So just go ahead and put the screws for it. While you hold it with your finger in the middle of the CPU, put the screws. You don't want that to lift up, putting a pressure on one side. And always try to do a cross, screws cross each other, don't go around. Once you did these two here, do the next two. You don't have to go really tight on these screws because they're kind of useless. Because they don't actually, you're supposed to have a nice pressure coming from the heatsink to the GPU or CPU. And these screws, they don't give you that enough pressure. So we're gonna fix that. All right. Put the screws at the end of the heatsinks. One right there. And close that plastic dummy thing. These plastic things right here, they help you so the hot air, once it comes out, it doesn't mix with the cold air that sucks in from here. The cold air goes from the side, or the normal room ambient goes from here and goes inside the fans, and it just blows through the heat sink right there. So these plastics right here, they're important. All right, now we want to plug in the battery. Now this is the trick that I use for all the Macs, because as I explained you guys, there's not enough pressure coming from the heatsink to the components. So I'm grabbing this kind of plastics right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom out. These plastics here, they're about, each is about a millimeter long or two. In total, you get about 4 millimeters long thick plastic. So what I do with these ones, I put them right over the CPU. Two of them is stacked together, and I put the bigger one on the CPU, the thicker one, the flimsy one. I'll put it on the CPU. You stack them like this. So once you put the cover on top, it actually gives you more pressure towards the heatsink. So you have better contact from the heatsink and the components on the dies. So it will really helps you guys with the cooling down the temperatures and bringing down the temperature and the fan noise. The fan noise, it really goes higher because the heat stays right on the CPU and the fan is like going crazy to trying to cool it down, and it cannot cool down because the heat is still is in the CPU, is not on the heatsink. So that's the reason. Okay, one second. All right. So yeah, I was saying, so pretty much what you need that pressure over this heatsink, so the heat can transfer from the CPU or GPU to the heatsink. So the fan, when it start cooling down the heatsink, and when the temperature for the GPU goes down, and the fan revolution will go down. If there is any space between a GPU and the heatsink, the fan will detect the CPU is hot and it just goes crazy. And the CPU, while the CPU is not cooled down, the fan will not go lower RPM. So anyways, I don't know if you guys understood that or not. So yeah, we're gonna put the cover on, and because we have this plastic here, we're gonna have nice pressure over the chips. And if you don't want to place them, don't do it. That's just optional. So let's go ahead and double check all the connections are there. And we're gonna put the bottom side first, and then now we're gonna put the top side. And let's go ahead and put all the screws. All right. Now let's turn it over and turn it on, and hopefully everything should be okay. Yep, we got our logo, and we are back in business. I hope you guys like this video. If you liked it, thumbs up. And if you have any question, leave them in the comments. Please think of subscribing. It really helps me out to answer your questions and take any more requests for any laptops. And also, I'll give prices away once I reach certain subscribers. Thanks for watching, guys.